The journey of luxury leather begins here, in the vast, open range, where the raw material is sourced with care. Before any processing begins, the livestock is guided into the intake facility for initial health inspection. Only hides free from deep scarring and disease are selected for high-end leather production. Once harvested, the immediate priority is preservation to prevent bacterial decay. Industrial-grade salt is applied generously to draw out moisture and lock in the collagen structure. This curing process, known as wet salting, requires the hides to sit for several weeks. Once stacked, the pallets are moved to a temperature-controlled environment to cure. Here, the salt dehydrates the skin, reducing its weight and preparing it for long-distance transport. Quality control checks ensure the curing is uniform before the batch is cleared for shipment. Excess salt is shaken off, and the hides are folded to maximize space efficiency. Hydraulic presses compress the hides into dense, secure bales for logistical ease.
Strapped and secured, these bales can now weigh up to several hundred kilograms. Efficiency is key as the bales are staged for the next phase of their journey.
Container loading is calculated precisely to balance weight for international shipping.
Securing the load prevents damage during the potentially rough transit to the tannery. Sealed and documented, the raw material is legally cleared for export.
Heavy logistics machinery transfers the container onto the transport fleet.
The raw hides now leave the extraction site, bound for the specialized processing facility. The journey from the remote extraction site to the central tannery covers hundreds of miles of infrastructure. Specialized logistics networks ensure the raw material arrives before degradation can compromise the quality. Navigating the industrial sector, the cargo approaches the specialized leather processing facility.
This facility is designed specifically for the complex chemistry of high-end leather transformation.
Strict biosecurity protocols regulate every shipment entering the production zone. Documentation verified, the cargo is cleared for weight verification and intake. Precision weighing ensures inventory accuracy and tracks the yield from raw hide to finished leather. The vehicle docks directly into the raw materials warehouse to maintain the cold chain. Once docked, the factory intake team takes custody of the shipment. Security seals are broken only by authorized personnel to guarantee chain of custody. The raw stock is immediately assessed for condition after its transit. Electric loaders are used indoors to prevent exhaust fumes from contaminating the porous hides. Every bale enters the facility's digital tracking system immediately upon arrival. Digital inventory management allows the tannery to trace every hide back to its source batch. The warehouse acts as a buffer, ensuring a constant supply for the production lines. Proper storage prevents the salted hides from drying out or absorbing ambient moisture. Following a first-in, first-out protocol, older stock is moved to the processing floor. Leaving the dry storage, the hides now enter the wet work zone to begin their transformation.
While the raw material waits, the specialized workforce arrives to begin the complex tanning process.
A modern tannery operates more like a chemical laboratory than a traditional workshop.
Strict access control ensures only trained technicians handle the hazardous chemistry involved in tanning.
Hygiene protocols begin here, separating the outside world from the controlled production environment.
Personal protective equipment is mandatory, as the initial stages involve potent lime and sulfide solutions.
With contamination risks minimized, the team enters the heart of the facility, the beam house. This zone, known as the beam house, is where the raw donkey hides will be stripped and prepared. Modern tanning is a data-driven science, with every chemical dosage calculated to the gram. Bulk storage tanks feed the necessary reagents directly to the drums to minimize human exposure. Toms. An automated vascular system delivers water and chemistry to each vessel on the floor.
Before the chemistry is applied, the hides must be rehydrated.
Loading is physical and rapid, ensuring the entire batch begins the process simultaneously. Fresh water is introduced to wash away the salt and restore the hide's natural moisture content. Once sealed, the vessel becomes a controlled environment for rehydration.
The drum will rotate for hours, gently tumbling the hides to relax the fibers.
Regular sampling checks the salinity levels, confirming when the salt has been fully extracted. Rehydrated and clean, the donkey hides are now soft, pliable, and ready for the fleshing machine.
Once fully rehydrated, the hides are unloaded for mechanical cleaning.
The first major mechanical step is fleshing, removing the organic connective tissue. This high-torque machine uses spiral-bladed cylinders to scrape the underside of the skin.
Precision is vital. The blades must remove fat and flesh without cutting the valuable leather.
With the flesh removed, the true quality of the donkey hide begins to emerge.
Manual trimming removes unusable edges that could snag in the processing machinery.
Skilled trimmers maximize the yield, preserving as much square footage as possible. Before chemical processing, every hide is graded for thickness and surface defects. Donkey leather is prized for its density, and thickness consistency is a key quality metric. Defects are manually marked to guide the splitting and finishing teams later in the process.
Grade A.
Sorting by quality at this early stage ensures efficient processing for different product tiers.
The batch is weighed again to calculate the exact chemical ratios for the next phase. The sorted batch is now transported to the limbing section. Meanwhile, the chemical team prepares the lime and sulfide slurry. The hides are staged, cleaned, and weighed, ready for the most drastic transformation yet. They enter the vessel for unhairing, where the hair will be chemically dissolved. Once sealed, the liming phase begins, a critical chemical process to remove hair and swell the collagen. A potent mixture of lime and sulfides breaks down the hair roots and opens the fiber structure. This cycle continues for up to 18 hours to ensure the chemical penetration is absolute. When the hair slips off with a simple touch, the unhairing process is complete. The hides, now called pelts, are swollen with alkaline water to nearly twice their original thickness. Before tanning, The thick donkey hide must be split into precise layers. A razor-sharp band knife slices the hide horizontally with sub-millimeter precision. The valuable top grain is separated for luxury use, leaving the bottom split for suede production. Donkey leather requires a specific thickness to maintain its strength grading. Engineers. Now, the alkaline chemicals must be removed in a process. Ammonium salts neutralize the lime, while special enzymes are added for baiting. Baiting enzymes digest unwanted proteins, making the leather soft and flexible.
Once the pH is neutral, the hides are ready for the pickling acid bath.
Acidification prepares the collagen fibers to accept the chrome tanning agent.
Chromium salts are introduced, which will permanently bond to the collagen structure.
Heat and time lock the chrome into the fibers, turning the perishable hide into stable leather. This state is known as wet blue, the industry standard for semi-processed leather. Heavy rollers wring out excess moisture, preparing the leather for precise quality grading. Transformation is complete. The raw blue hide has become a colored, lubricated leather base. The setting machine presses out excess moisture and flattens the grain to remove wrinkles.
Skilled hands ensure there are no creases before the heat is applied.
The vacuum lowers the boiling point of water, drying the leather instantly without heat damage. Though mostly dry, the leather requires a final conditioning phase to stabilize its moisture content. Air drying on the line allows the remaining moisture to evaporate naturally.
Mechanical staking massaged the fibers, breaking the stiffness to reveal the leather's natural suppleness.
Now known as crust leather, it is structurally complete but lacks the final surface finish.
Initiating Phase 7, High-Tech Automation Systems.
Modern finishing lines eliminate human error, using automation to ensure consistent application. Before any finish is applied, the surface is microscopically cleaned of dust and debris. Rotary sprayers apply a microfine base coat of pigment and binder to the donkey hide. This base coat evens out the color and prepares the surface for the final texture. Rapid cooling sets the binders, creating a durable, flexible film on the surface.
For correction of minor natural grain defects, a roller coater applies a precise stucco layer.
High-pressure ironing smooths the surface, fusing the finish layers into the leather grain.
Computer vision systems map the surface, identifying even the smallest remaining imperfections.
This digital map guides the downstream cutting machines to maximize yield. Automated logistics sort the hides by grade before they even reach the final finishing area. Robotic transport units move materials between stations to maintain a sterile, dust-free flow. For textured varieties, the leather undergotter. The leather undergoes high-pressure hydraulic embossing. Hundreds of tons of pressure, combined with heat, imprint a permanent texture onto the surface. Embossing creates the consistent aesthetic required for high-end luggage and accessories.
Leather is sold by the square foot, so laser measurement ensures commercial accuracy.
With the surface finished and area measured, the leather moves to the precision finishing lab.
The automated heavy lifting is done, and now begins the phase of human artistry and precision. To achieve the buttery soft feel required for luxury goods, the leather undergoes dry milling. Tumbling the dry leather separates the fibers mechanically, breaking any remaining stiffness. Once softened, the leather must be stretched flat one final time to maximize the cutting yield. Toggle drying involves stretching the hide onto perforated frames to ensure it lies perfectly flat. This tension sets the shape, preventing the leather from shrinking or warping later.
A brief pass through the drying oven locks in the area dimension.
The toggle clips leave distinct marks on the edges, which must now be trimmed. A final top coat seals the surface, adding water resistance and the desired gloss level. Gloss levels are strictly controlled to match the client's master sample. Machines can measure thickness, but only a human hand can judge the haptics, the emotional feel of the leather. Color consistency is checked under multiple light sources to prevent metamerism.
With the aesthetic properties confirmed, the batch moves to the physical testing laboratory.
Visual beauty is not enough. The leather must now prove its durability in the lab. Sacrificial samples are cut from every batch for destructive testing. The Veslick test simulates years of wear by rubbing the surface thousands of times.
Durability standards for luxury goods are uncompromising, requiring zero color transfer.
With dry and wet rub tests passed, the leather must now prove it won't crack under movement.
The flexometer simulates the creasing of a shoe or bag, running for over 50,000 cycles.
High-speed cameras monitor for micro cracks in the finish that are invisible to the naked eye. Tensile testing pulls the fiber structure to its absolute breaking point. The force required to tear the donkey hide is recorded to ensure structural integrity. Chemical analysis screens for restricted substances, ensuring consumer safety. We specifically test for chromium-6, verifying the tanning process was chemically stable.
The fogging test ensures that volatile compounds won't evaporate and film over glass surfaces.
Surface tension is checked to confirm the efficacy of the water-resistant topcoat. With laboratory certification complete, the batch returns to the floor for final visual grading. Every single square inch of the final product is inspected by the human eye.
While machinery ensures consistency, natural leather will always bear the unique life history of the animal.
Grade 2 area.
Defects are mapped to help the client's cutting machines avoid them. Trade laws require precise area measurement, certified by calibrated mechanical systems.
The finished leather receives its passport, a label tracking its entire journey. Rolled loosely to prevent creasing, the leather is prepared for final dispatch.
The logistics team consolidates orders, grouping the leather by color and client. Inspected, graded, and measured, the donkey leather is now a finished luxury commodity. To protect the finished hides from moisture and dust during transit, pallets are shrink-wrapped.
The finished inventory is organized in high-density racking systems.
Strategic storage ensures that specific batches can be retrieved instantly for shipping. When a client order is received, the logistics team picks the exact required grade and color. Additional moisture absorbents are packed with the leather to ensure it remains dry.
Heavy-duty packaging protects the high-value cargo from physical impact.
Automated labeling ensures full traceability from the factory floor to the client's door.
The dispatch bay is the final stop within the facility's controlled environment. Pallets are loaded and secured to maximize space and prevent shifting. Final verification confirms that the shipment matches the export documentation.
Sealed once more, the leather begins its journey to fashion houses around the world.
Global logistics partners ensure delivery within days of production completion. From a raw, salted hide to a premium material, the transformation is a feat of chemistry and engineering.
The cycle continues daily, bridging the gap between agriculture and luxury fashion.
Storage capacity allows the tannery to buffer supply against global market demand.
Every shipment represents weeks of precise labor and strict quality control.
And this is how modern factories produce high-end donkey leather from start to finish.
Subscribe for more real factory breakdowns.